Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 Hello, morning.
Morning, everyone.
Okay, we can start. I see there are around 50 participants. So if I could just ask everybody to mute while not talking. Yes, perfect. So we can slowly start with the agenda. Hello, everybody, once again. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the first dissemination webinar with the topic of rural labs as social innovation methodology. My name is Milica. I come from the Institute for Development and Innovation from Serbia, and we are one of the 15 partners implementing the Sierra project. Before we start with the agenda, I would just like to point out that we are recording this webinar, and this video is going to be published in the Sierra's YouTube channel, because I do believe that the discussion here is going to be interesting and educational for all of us. So just to point out that. I won't talk much about the Sierra project itself, because our leaders from University of Burgos have prepared the presentation regarding this. So I would just like to point out some main characteristics. So the Sierra project is focused on social innovation, on rural area, and vulnerable and marginalized groups. So this is the end of the first implementation year of this project. So we have a lot of results achieved so far, and we are going to present them to you during this webinar. Also, this webinar was organized for our partners, but also we wanted to share experience with representatives of academia and potential sister projects. So we have a lot of different actors in this webinar. And before we start with the presentation, I would like to just get to know our audience a bit better. So we prepared a few simple questions for you via Slido tool. So Marina, can you please share the slide where we can see the information how to enter the Slido questions? Marina, are you? Yes.
Yes.
So we can see it. Perfect. So you can enter the Slido questions via this QR code. You can just simply type slido.com. I see already we have some answers. And you already have the link in the chat, I think, that Marina shared. So, okay, perfect. We have our partner organizations, but we also have representatives from academia, from sister projects. Great. We have some other participants because it was an open call. Perfect. So academia, partner organization, possible sister project is, we are the same shares. Perfect. So can we go to another question? We have one more. From what country are you from? Just to see the geographical distribution. Greece. Okay, Spain, Italy, Serbia, Norway, that are partner countries, but we also have Greece, we have Poland, okay, Finland, Italy and Spain are leading here. Austria, okay, great, thank you very much. Now that we know a bit more our audience, we are going to start with our presentations. Our first set of presentations are made from our team leaders from University of Burgos. Luis and Sonia are going to present. First of all, Luis is going to present a Sierra project. And then Sonia is going to start with our main topic today, and that is to present the theoretical basis of living labs. So Marina, can you please share their presentation? And Luis, you are the first, so the floor is yours.
Thank you, Milica. Welcome everybody. Thank you for participating in this webinar. And we are going to explain what is the essential aspect of our project, SIRA project, enhancing social innovation in rural areas. Is an European project founded by the European Union, and we are going to explain the most important aspect of the project and the result that in this year is going to finish we have developed. Marina, can you pass? Thank you, please. This project is formed by 15 partners from 8 countries. We have developed 9 pilots in rural areas, and we have 4 years to develop the project. Another, please. Thank you. As you can see, we represent many countries in Europe: Norway, Lithuania, Poland, Hungary, Serbia, Italy, France, and Spain. And in these countries, we have 15 partners. The coordination of the project is by the University of Burgos in Spain. Well, we have spent different meetings, presentially and online, with all partners, and we have put the project running during this past 12 months. Next, please. Well, our project have as a main focus the rural community. We have identified different rural communities in Europe, 8 pilots, and all of them are rural communities with problems, with a bad situation, but also with a lot of opportunities that can be developed from the social innovation, the social economy, and the strength of the rural communities. These communities have been analyzed for better understand the context and the challenge that they have at the moment. With this analysis, we have studied the effectiveness of policies, the opportunities, the services, and the initiatives that they have to improve. And we have defined a group, a community-led innovation space, a MAP, that has the responsibility to lead the project in these pilots. This map that is the essential of the community-led innovation in rural areas is now working. They have been constituted in June, more or less, and they have been several meetings and are defining the different aspects of the project, and mainly to develop the economy initiatives, the social initiatives that have to change the situation of these rural areas and to solve the challenge of social inclusion and the opportunities of the social economy in these rural areas. Another, please. Well, in this slide, you can see the phases of the project. Is more or less, not exactly, but more or less 4 years, have 4 phases. This 2024 year, we have prepared the ground, we have defined the multi-actor platform. We have studied the social inclusion drivers in the rural areas. We have studied the opportunities and some possible social economy initiatives. And in the phase 2, we are now starting. We have to define operating innovation spaces. We have preparing a potent program of formation by the philosophy of train the trainer. We have to develop several activities that have to enhance the building up strong communities. We are now preparing the rural labs and the community of practices, and defining also the indicators for monitoring and evaluation and evaluate the development of the project. The third phase of the project is the rural labs that Sonia is going to explain better when I have finished, because these rural labs are going to co-design the projects, is going also to define the innovation solutions for the problems in the rural areas, is going to filter, to screening the different initiatives, and is going to generate support for the pilots and for the promoters of the initiatives. And also by the indicators we are going to define, realize the monitoring and evaluation. The last phase of the project is to maximizing the impacts, the positive impacts, the positive innovation initiatives, generating policy recommendations, guarantee the long-term sustainability, and with the raising awareness, disseminating results, and also generating between the different initiatives, the different innovation initiatives, generating nets and alliance to offer a replicability of these innovation solutions. Next, please. I'm going to finish. As you can see, we have three groups for the development of the project. One of them is the multi-actorial platform, the MAP, who is mainly formed by local actors that have to make proposal and decision for the project, and have several meetings and work sessions for have the decisions. We have also the Rural Lab that has to co-create the innovation solutions made by the promoters of the initiatives, and that have to generate innovative projects, successful innovative projects, and work by work groups, the co-creation and the co-design. And also we have a community of practice, two levels: international community of practice and also a cross-regional and local community of practice that is open for everybody that want to collaborate: experts, local technicians, academic professionals, and traditional knowledge holders, and have to share the knowledge, share and create collective knowledge by experiences, by papers, success stories, best practice, networks, alliance, and new solutions. And I think have the last slide. No, it's time for Sonia. Thank you.
For Sonia. Thank you very much, Luis. I think that this was very useful, because we have a lot of representatives of sister projects and academia that this is the first time that they hear about a Sierra project. And now we can continue with Sonia. We are starting with our main topic of this webinar. So Sonia, Marina, please share the presentation, and Sonia the mic is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Milica and Marina. And of course, thank you, Luis, for your presentation of the ESIRA project, the objectives, methodology, and the first results in this first year of the ESIRA project. As Luis said, creating rural labs is one of the principal methodologies used in the ESIRA project. And these rural labs is a concept that is related to living labs, that perhaps is something more common in the social science language. A living lab is a concept, a methodology, and a space related to the world of research that promotes a way of doing and thinking about innovation. Living labs add value to the innovation process. In fact, living labs take part in the worldwide movement involving labs, hubs, and think tanks, focusing on societal needs and the generation of social innovation. Overall, living labs represent new models of organizing collaborative innovation processes by involving diverse actors, including communities, users, business, public, and civil society sector. Living labs are instruments to achieve greater citizen participation and social cohesion thanks to the involvement of diverse stakeholders in facing current societal challenges. But I think that this is not a lot of evidence in the academic literature. For example, if we search the Web of Science database for the amount of academic literature on the topic living lab, which includes the concept living lab in the title, abstract, or in the keywords, we find 3,614 results. It's not bad. But if we search for literature on living lab and social innovation, the number of results drops to 105 results. And if we search for living lab and rural, only 105 results appear. In other words, applying living labs to rural environments still needs to be more exploited in the academia world. If we narrow down the research, for example, living lab and rural and social innovation, only 8 results appear in the Web of Science. Furthermore, only 6 documents coin the specific concept of rural lab, that is our methodology. 2 documents include rural lab and social innovation. Only 2 documents. And if we read the abstracts, only one of them is in the line of research on what a living lab model is in rural areas. This search scheme highlights the novelty of this concept and methodology, shows that its use is still in its infancy in rural and regional development, and reveals a lack of both theoretical and empirical literature that address and evidence this methodology as a possible tool to promote social innovation in rural areas. Next, please. Within the ESIRA project, the Rural Lab for us is a space for co-creation, innovation, and experimentation, in which MAP members, the members of the multi-actor platforms, together with the support of other stakeholders, experts, collaborators, traditional knowledge, academia, of course, will work to ensure that the ideas that have emerged within the MAP, within the multi-actor platform, incorporate a social dimension that aligns them with the objectives of social inclusion of the ESIRA project, and become real social innovation for rural communities. In the next slide, we can see the main characteristics that we assume in the rural labs. One of these is that it is a space for co-creation, innovation, and experimentation in the rural areas to study the social problems and the possible solutions in these areas. One of the other main characteristics is that it's a participatory and collaborative process between different stakeholders. And also, this is a tool that tests innovative solutions to promote sustainable social, economical, and environmental development in rural areas. In the next slide, we can see that the introduction of this working methodology in the SIRA pilots has several inputs. Pinares is one of the pilots. In fact, is the Spanish pilot in the SIRA project. And in this case, we are working and start to work with the different rural labs meetings. Once the multi-actor platforms have been set up, as our map in Pinares, Burgos, Soria community, we start with an analysis of the social needs of the pilot area and the search for initiative. This is something that we have done during this first year, and we are preparing several reports regarding the social needs, challenges, and vulnerable situation of the different groups in our pilots. Then we search for initiatives, both new but also replicable ideas based on previous projects, which together with the collaborative work of local actors, experts, mentors, technicians, researchers, and also the SIRA team, we collaborate to find innovative solutions to social problems. This is achieved by creating specific working groups in different areas and in different topics, and co-creation and co-designing tools. And in the next slide, we can see our methodology in several steps. Our objective applying rural labs in our projects is to try to standardize and test this methodology, including the following steps and different elements in this chaotic order, but also in an iterative way, as if they were the ingredients of a cocktail sector, more or less. First, we identify the local opportunities and needs, and this is something that we have done. And together with the knowledge of replicable successful experiences and traditional and expert knowledge, the objective is to give rise to the social initiatives to be worked on the different rural labs. These initiatives could be in different topics: digitalization, social inclusion, environmental topics, sustainability in the three ways: social, economic, and environmental sustainability, problems related to the financing of the initiatives, problems related initiatives that involve the community, culture topics, economy and entrepreneurship, and all these initiatives are going to work in the rural lab. The solutions, pilots, and prototypes will be proposed thanks to the creation of specific working groups and the co-creation and co-design processes. And thanks to the collaborative networks between stakeholders, different alliances, and the monitoring and evaluation through specific indicators related to the social inclusion, economic, and also environmental indicators, and the feedback from the communities of practices, the international community of practice that, for example, we can, where we can share knowledge with our sister projects, but also the cross-regional community of practice among the different managers in our project, but also we would like to invite the other projects if you are working on the same vulnerable groups as us, or you are working in rural areas with the same characteristics as the ESIRA rural areas. I would like to invite you to share your knowledge in these communities of practice. Also in the international level, for example, with our Serigo sister project that I know that you are here, but also the other sister projects. But also, it's important, for example, a local community of practice, because sometimes the traditional knowledge in the local community that is only in our language, and it's not possible to share this knowledge in English, for example, like in this forum. I think it's also very important to try to make these initiatives real. And well, these solutions, these social innovative solutions will be developed to address the particular problems and the challenges in the pilot's rural areas. And one of the most important things is that these initiatives will be scalable and replicable beyond the end of the project, because these initiatives are from the multi-actor platform and are for the rural community. And only to summarize, the characteristics of this rural lab methodology is that it's a place-based methodology, because we identify the local initiatives and opportunities in the local place. It's a multi-actor methodology, because we involve the multi-actor platform, but also other local actors, and even actors from other environments. Is a methodology based on co-creation and co-design that is organized into working groups, that is important to focus in particular problems with particular tools, and of course that is focused on long-term sustainability. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonia. So thank you both, Luis and Sonia. And just to summarize in short, so ESIRA is dealing with social innovation in rural areas and with vulnerable groups of people. We have established 9 maps, multi-actor platforms in 7 different countries. And within these maps, we are going to create, or someone has already created, rural labs, or living labs, as academic literature knows that. That is a space for co-creation and co-designing and implementation of these social innovations that we want to implement in rural areas. Now that we know a bit more about ESIRA and about the concept of living labs, we are going to the second part of our agenda, where we are going to talk about the practical experience in implementing these living labs. But as we have time, I would like to get back to Slido once again, just to see how many of participants in this webinar have experience with implementation of living labs. So Marina, please, can you share the screen once more, just so we can see the codes? So For now, not many of us have the experience, but the situation is changing. Okay, no is leading. 20 participants answered. No is still leading. Okay, so not many of us have the experience in implementation of living labs. So I think that these next presentations are going to be useful for us because in the next set of presentations, Anna and Sinisa prepared their experience in implementation of living labs. So Marina, can you please share their presentation? And Anna, if you can unmute just to see, because Anna had some technical issues. We can hear you, Anna?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes,
hello.
perfect.
Can you
So
hear
we
me?
are starting with
Great,
you. The
great.
floor is yours.
Thank you for helping me resolving my technical problems. Okay, so I will be I will try to be short. Next slide, please, because my presentation is not about a real rural lab. Our example can be seen as an antecedent of a rural lab. Just in short, there was a project implemented by the Hungarian Reformed Church Aid in Hungary in a very disadvantaged region, a district called Cigand, between 2018 and 2022. So it was a 4-year long project, and it was about like the general objective of the project was to slow down and stop the social and economic decline in the district, to bridge the development gaps within the district by fostering the development of local communities, and to support the improvement of the population's quality of life through essential services. We have set up two like called presence points, 2 offices in the district, in Riche and Bodroghalom settlement, where numerous programs have been implemented, such as mother-child clubs, cooking clubs, workshops, the fairy tale program, puppet theater workshops, and financial literacy board games, and a lot more. I took up the project in 2021 as the 6th project leader. So the project has already been running for 3 years when I took it up. So it was not easy to get in touch with everyone, to gain a profound knowledge of the region. But the target group was the same as the Azira project, all the vulnerable groups in the district. Next slide, please. So we had a social services roundtable. It was a forum. And the baseline situation when I took up the project was that a large number of vulnerable population in the Bodrogköz area was struggling to survive winter time because the lack of food, electricity, firewood, or appropriate clothing, and also for a lot of families it was they were unable to buy Christmas presents for the children, for example. So a lot of families were living in poverty, oftentimes with a large number of children. There were lonely old people living alone, whose children already have moved out from the region. There are a lot of people living with disabilities. And so the social services roundtable was an obligatory element of the project. It was running for 3 years when I took up the program, and it was kind of a must to take part in it. It served as a forum to communicate about the project's initiatives and programs, but it lacked the real co-creation space for providing solution between the actors. And also the participants from the social services sector were really burnt out, and they did not have faith in any impactful cooperation. Next slide, please. So what was a plus that the stakeholder involvement was already okay, because the representatives of all actors were already involved in this roundtable. There were representatives of the municipalities, from the social services centers, from charity organizations, and also from the general population. But it was, yeah, it was really not working as a co-creation platform. So what was needed to make the forum, make the roundtable a forum where we could really address pressing, actual, concrete issues of the region. So I chose the coming wintertime crisis to create a solution for service providing, to set up a cooperation between actors in the district, to use the available resources for that all people in need would be provided with the necessary services. So we defined a clear goal to which all actors could relate to, and the result was that despite the general burnout and the overwhelming period before Christmas, all actors became very active, shared their views about the best way to set up a coordination structure, and the co-creation of a service delivery plan was starting to work. For me, it was even a surprise. What we did. First, we created a list about all the resources available within different actors. In this who has what slide, you can see what kind of actors were involved. We had municipalities, we had the social services center, and the charity organizations. The best example was that municipalities and also our organization, the Hungarian Reform Church Aid, had firewood available for families in need, but we did not know exactly what families are in need because, for example, the municipalities also only had contacts with a very short a very small number of families, while our organization had a much wider knowledge of which families need firewood. So it was very crucial to know how much cubic meter of firewood is available in the municipalities and in our logistics centers, and how many families have heating issues. So we create the list about all the resources available. Then we listed all families in all the 15 settlements who were in need of any kind of support, and also we specified their concrete needs. Of course, different actors had different information about the families due to their operational nature, but in the end, it all added up, and we had a very clear overview about the families in need and what kind of concrete support they need. And in the coming weeks, from the beginning of November until the end of December, there was a representative appointed within all institutions and organizations who were responsible for communication. So a kind of a phone chain was set up. And also we created an Excel sheet where we could follow which families' needs have already been addressed. So a very active communication was created between the actors, between the municipalities, the charity organizations, and also the social services. And it worked very, very well. So the result, in short, was much more families were provided with adequate support. the resources we had were used optimally, and maybe the most important result was that a common sense of collaboration was reached between the actors providing social services. And this collaboration was the base for the Azira project. That was all. I don't know if you have any questions, but I try to be short and quick.
We'll leave the questions for the discussion part
Okay.
because we have one more presenter. Sinisa, the floor is yours. Marina, just yes, perfect.
Thank you
Sinisa,
very much.
Thank
Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sinisa. I come from the Institute for Development and Innovation. I'll be presenting PCNA Living Lab and our experience. So I will try to capture all the structural elements of a living lab and share some of the interesting stuff and processes that are ongoing in our living lab that are related to the methodology. So our living lab is called Pannonian Climate Neutral Agriculture Living Lab. It is not directly related to the Ruralities project. First of all, Institute for Development and Innovation is one of the founders of the Living Lab on one hand, and on the other hand, we are a partner in the Ruralities project. Those are our two complementary things. Ruralities project is a 5-year horizon.
Sorry for interrupting you. Just please, because your connection is interrupting. Just please turn off your camera so the connection can be better.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
Is it better like this?
I hope so.
Okay, let's try. I'll try to speak slower as well. Okay, I just didn't want to take too much time, and I have a lot of information to share. So Ruralities is a 5-year Horizon Europe project. It is related to sustainable rural development. Here we summarize it shortly that it delivers an ecosystem enhancing and climate action driven expertise and learning framework organized in hubs, comprising a series of innovative methodologies. Here we include citizen science, system thinking methodology, and various engagement and co-creation methodologies other than living labs. With the learner at its core, supported by a comprehensive network of living labs and a digital platform to engage, connect, and empower rural actors. Our target group is 10,000 plus rural stakeholders and 100 plus rural individuals. This first group is really meticulously mapped and strategized, and this is the group. I have to mention that Ruralities has 50 plus partners, so from more than 30 countries. So these numbers don't look as big when you take that into consideration. First group are the rural actors, stakeholders that we engage in directly, that help us also to conduct activities as Ruralities, a coordination and support action project. And these 100,000 plus rural individuals are more related to the outreach, communication, as well as our target group that participates in the activities of our living labs, co-creation activities, training centers that Ruralities will found and other activities. So you can move to the next slide. Now I will touch more on the PCNA Living Lab. This is a research-driven or research-focused living lab, but it is focused on the rural environment, so it can be also defined as a rural living lab. The shortest description would be that it's dealing with with multiple experimentation facilities that it has in its possessions that allow companies and researchers to develop and test innovations in a real life environment. It has 4 organizations in partnership that are founders. We have AgroCampus. It's a national research and education center, which provides the facilities for experimentation and co-creation. We have University of Novi Sad, Faculty of Agriculture, which is a higher education institution providing expertise in research. And we have Balkan Eco Innovation, a non-profit cluster organization, which is important for communication and dissemination, also stakeholder engagement, and us, Institute for Research and Institute for Development and Innovation. We are a non-profit, and we are dealing with, we are conducting various forms of socioeconomic analysis, and we are advising other partners and consortium around this living lab in co-creation methodology, living lab methodology, multi-actor approach, and so on. We have five roles, I'm sorry, in the steering committee. We have a president that's been elected every 3 years. We have business development officer, we have a scientific officer, communication manager, and stakeholder manager. That is a steering committee structure covering all important aspects. We have various resources at the Living Lab, physical ones, from a cow farm, poultry research center, cryopreservation facility. We have more than 1.5 hectares of land dedicated for research projects on soil health. We have conference rooms and so on. The most interesting thing we have is, for me, it's an insect farm, which is run in cooperation with a business that with a company that makes chocolate. So the Living Lab produces 6 types of chocolate with edible insects. It is good for the environment and health. And Living Lab functions through 3 main dimensions, let's say processes, activities. First is a co-creation and end user involvement. This can be seen, for example, in the development of chocolate with insects. It is developed with the business sector. Researchers are going, organizing workshops, co-creation activities to gather input from the end users to adjust the texture, the taste, to test the behavioral aspects of animosity towards this type of food, how can it be overcome, and so on. So this is an one example. Second dimension is that PCNA lab is also a meeting place and a contact point for everyone with the relevant interest or experience. They can come, join, cooperate, everything. And the third thing is related to testing and evaluating technology and other solutions with the business partners, with the companies. So one good example is a cooperation with a company called Cattle Guard, during which the researchers in the PCNA Living Lab were testing the product of this company related to sensor technology and monitoring of digestion in cows, early pregnancy detection, and these sort of things. So it's been tested in PCNA Living Lab has the infrastructure and the expertise to test these solutions in real life environments, which is an advantage. For the end, we have been certified by European Network of Living Labs. So we have officially been through that process and accreditation. We got the certificate last year. And so we're also have officialized all these activities and the Living Lab itself. If you have, I tried to keep it short. If you have any questions about activities or the structure of the Living Lab, or about the experience of joining the European Network of Living Labs, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both Anna and Sinisa. These are two very different labs, if I can say so. Ones deal with the families in need, and it's more focused on the rural action, and the other one is more scientific, if I can say so, developing new innovative products like chocolates with insects. I'm now sorry that we didn't prepare 4 questions with Slido to ask who would try to eat chocolate with insects, but we didn't do that. Okay, for the next webinar. And now I can open the discussion part. If anybody has questions or some experiences to share with us, please raise your hand and I will allow you to unmute yourself, because that's how this Microsoft webinar thing is working. So please raise your hand if you have to share something with us. Okay, maybe our partners have something to ask. Nope. Is everything okay technically? Yeah. Okay. We have Carlo. Just let me allow Mike. I think that now you can unmute yourself, Carlo.
Yes, here I am. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much for the presentation to all the speakers. I'm Carlo Giua. I'm a research fellow from the University of Pisa, and we are here because we are the VP leader of VP leader part of a project that is called Futural, that has a lots of things in common with ESIRA and some other projects that have been mentioned. We particularly focus on the activation, the support to some, let's say, another variety of multi-actor platforms. In our case, are called still super similar multi-actor pilots, but because they are very similar to the concept of living lab, with the aspect of implementation, piloting of innovations that in our case are mostly digital. This aspect of piloting is very relevant. And so, no, just one first reflection was that thank you for organizing this. It has been very interesting also to understand the different approaches that probably also are related to that type of innovations that like these multi-actor pilots are developing. In our case, for example, we are more related to development of technological solutions. Then I see that instead in your okay, now I can also switch on the camera. Okay, at least you can see me. And in your case, it's more related to social innovations. From our point of view, of course, then also technological and digital innovations in rural area have to be social innovations in some cases. And because they all start from the social need, also in our case. So it was very interesting to understand also the process of activation of the different multi-actor platforms, and I hope somehow we can continue to share our experiences for example, we as a Futural organize one event every year that is called the European Union Rural Innovation Forum, where we invite all the speakers, all other actors working on the same field to join to the discussion. And then after this very general reflection, I had one question related at the beginning of the presentation. You were mentioning that you are developing one framework to monitor and evaluate the action of the rural labs. And because we as the group I belong, that is about Pisa Agricultural Economics Group, so PAGE Group, we have been working on living labs for quite some time, and we are also starting a conversation about how to build a framework on how to monitor and evaluate living labs. That is not easy at all. So I was just asking if there is someone that started with this adventure, if you want to share their approach, how or if you are something that you are aiming at during the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sonia, I think that you can answer this question the best.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Carlo, for sharing your experience and your project that, of course, is totally aligned with all most of the things that we are doing in Esira. And yes, now we start with the rural labs now in January 2025, and one of the tasks in this period is to design the indicators for the monitoring and evaluation of the rural lab processes and results. And these indicators now are we are preparing a draft for social, economical, and environmental indicators. This is a social innovation and social inclusion project, but also we need to measure the economic and environmental impact, not only the social impact, because we see the sustainability as a whole process with the three parts. And now we are in this process to design the indicators that we are going to start to monitor the different initiatives and activities of the rural labs, and sure that we will share the results at the end of the next year. But if you want, we can to keep in touch to try to share different methodologies and to talk about this, because it's something that is in a draft.
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yes. Sure.
Yes, yes.
Sure. I think it would be very, very interesting for us also to share our experience on this. So definitely.
Yes, and because it's true that it's not easy to measure these social impacts and social issues. It's not because this rural lab is not a scientific lab. We are not working with chemistry, and I think it's not easy to define.
Yes.
And
Yes, indeed.
maybe-
Also.
Sorry,
No, go
sorry,
ahead.
Gabo.
Sorry. No. I was saying the same. Apart from the activities of the living lab itself as a definition, as a kind of a debated definition already, and yeah, there is a lot of literature that says that it's not difficult to measure what they do, no? And so I mean, we can try in together.
Yeah, thank you.
And maybe Sinisa can share his experience. Okay.
Yeah, of course. So we are using what our colleagues in Oxford developed through one other project. It's called the mixed methodology, measuring impacts of citizen science. They did it for citizen science, but I think it can be used quite well for living labs as well, as it has five dimensions and more than 200 indicators. So first part was done through meticulous literature research, and second part is based on machine learning and AI algorithms that also learn as more projects are input. You have a digital platform which is free to use. It's been developed through a Horizon 2020 project, and I am now currently adjusting it for our project Ruralities to get evidence-based measurements on engagement and end user involvement. But I think it can be really well used for measuring the success of and impact of living labs. It could be adjusted a bit in the future for this particular matter. I will also test it in the future and inform the original creators as we are in communication, so it will just be better and more improved. But it's behind this very complex background of indicators as sources and machine learning. It is a really user friendly and intuitive platform that like you can even equip people that are not into academia research or anything to conduct the evaluation. And one more sentence, evaluation can be done in iteration in an ongoing manner. It doesn't need to be, because you have a profile of your project on the platform, it doesn't need to be done in certain instances. It can be done continuously, and the platform will give you, machine learning algorithm will throw out the real-time recommendations for improvement of all these indicators. So it can be used to inform your project going forward, and it's all evolving. I will put the link in the description. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Sinisa. So Sinisa will put the link in the chat, because some of you have written that they couldn't hear you well. So I think that link is going to explain a lot. Do we have another question, or someone wants to share their experience? Just raise your hand and I will allow you to unmute yourself. Okay, if we don't have, and we have one more. Atifa, just let me allow your mic. I think you can now unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, with some background noise, but
okay. Thank you so
with
much.
a lot of background noise.
Yes, it's a wonderful session, and I want to say thanks to Professor Maria for the presentation, because I was very keen about the methodology, and thank you so much for the elaboration. Thank you.
Yes, we can hear you, but you have a lot of background noise. Maybe you can just lower your mic a little bit, your sound on your computer. I think that we are hearing ourselves. Or you can just type in the chat, please, question, because we can't hear you well. Sorry.
Milica, you mute yourself. Just unmute yourself.
Sorry. Atifa, can you please try to type your question in the chat, because we can't hear you well. Sorry. Okay, do we have another question until Atifa types it her? Okay. Then should we just wait a minute and see if we have another questions? I think that we had pretty interesting presentations, both about ESIRA project and about living labs and the experience in implementation of living labs. So I hope that this was useful for you. We are going to share this video of this webinar to ESIRA's YouTube channel, so you can all see it. And I was keen with the methodology. Okay, thank you very much. And I think that we have come to the end of this first webinar, and I would like to once again thank all the presenters and all participants for the discussion and for openness to share their experience that we can learn from. I encourage you to visit our website, esira.eu. We are going to share all the important news are going to be on that website, but also please follow us on social media. I think that Marina shared the links in the chat, because on social media we are regularly with our posts, and you can follow all the project results. On the website, we are going to share the presentations and this video, so you can go back and hear. I think that it was very educational. So that's all from us. I think that we are going to see each other very soon, because we have a lot of similar topics. So thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, Carlo.